We've done a lot so far, and now I want to take a step back and review before we move on further. The first thing we did is create a dialog, and to make it show up on the screen, we had to give it a size and call the setVisible method on the dialog. After we did that, we set up a simple animation loop just to demonstrate the concept of how you would go about creating an animation. And so we have a loop that runs forever, and each time through we put something in the console and increment a variable. And we also introduced the notion of putting a thread to sleep so that the thing doesn't spin too quickly. After that, we updated this animation loop to actually change the position of the dialog on the screen. So instead of having this variable I that we increment each time through the loop, we created two variables to track the state of the dialog, and we update those each time through the loop instead. And instead of putting something in the console, we changed the location of the dialog by using the setLocation method. We also did some refactorings, like pulling out this increment into a static variable and pulling out the delay into a static variable. The next thing we did is make the animation a little bit more complicated. So previously the dialog was just moving from the top left of the screen to the bottom right of the screen and running on indefinitely. So we pulled out the position of the dialog into an instance member. So it's no longer these local variables to the run method. And that also allowed us to move this update logic into its own method called move. And so rather than just having these two lines like we did previously, we now introduced the notion of direction. So when the fly goes far enough off in one direction, it will turn back around and go in the other direction. Then the final thing we did is added some styling to the dialog to make it look a little bit more like a fly. So we removed the title bar in the frame from the dialog, we changed the background color, and we made sure that the dialog was always on top of other windows, very fly-like behavior. The only other thing we did in that video was some small refactorings, like changing the name of the dialog from dialog to fly. Now that looks a little bit more like a fly.